yes. Second semi-final. Yeah. What about the second semi-final? South Africa against Australia. Familiar foes, you'd say. Familiar foes. Happened in the round robin stage. Well, South Africa absolutely obliterated Australia. And remember, they played a series before they turned up here. And Australia winning 2-0, had won the 2020s 3-0, and then lost that series 3-2. So they've played each other often in recent times. But this is a slightly different game. Why is it a different game? Knockout. Winner takes all. Winner sends the other one crashing back home. Oh, I tell you. Australia, are they peaking at just the right time? That's the question. Because they seem to be. They seem to have done the right things. They were written off by many, by their own even, at the beginning of the tournament. And they were that close to going sort of 3-0 at the beginning, having lost 3 in a row, you know? Didn't quite happen. But then they just picked up and got back on track. Key players as they got back on track. One is Adam Zampa. I think he's important in their lineup. And if they're going to do well, he's going to have to do well at Kolkata. Who else has been important? David Warner. Yeah. Always there. Has been there a really long time. Big time experience. Solid for them. He's got to do well if they're going to win that semi-final. Travis Head coming back was an important thing. Came back and it was like he never left. So, yeah, key. I do think they're top heavy because throw in Mitchell Marsh there, and those are the guys who generally ought to get the runs, ought to get them off to a start. And the fact that this start that they're after is against a South African attack that's been pretty good in the power play kind of puts them a little bit on the back foot. And so it's kind of all guns aimed at the part of the game that sets it up for them. And if they can get through that, they'll have done really well because South Africa's attack with Ngidi, injury worries, remember that. Janssen had a poor game, got rested, and I think that's just a reset scenario. He'll come back and he'll come and swing it left arm at the top of the bowling order there. Then Rabada, who doubled up, right? He went to start opening the bowling because they rested Marco Jansen. He can adapt, absolute superstar, Rabada, and it's been great to watch actually. Kind of quietly confident and just getting about his business and doing the business through this tournament. Yeah, so those three, if all three are fit, Ngidi struggling, don't know what it was, his foot, his ankle, his Achilles, but then he came back on and bowled in that final group game, so maybe he's okay. So those, can you get through those guys? If it's not those guys, there's one more to throw in there, and that is Gerald Coetzee. Fantastic. Been taking wickets galore, runs in and goes at them. So can Australia set it up? Because if they can set it up, then they can get themselves to what is a decent total, and if they're chasing, same sort of story. Because if that middle order is exposed early, and I know this might seem a bit after Maxwell's heroics, you might go, oh, hold on, they were 90 for 7. Yeah, I don't know that that's going to be happening too many times, if ever again. So yeah, that's essentially it. Guns aimed at the top of the order. If Australia can get through that bit, then they can set up the rest of the innings. Whether they're setting or whether they're chasing, doesn't matter. It's the same sort of scenario. For South Africa, if you look at it the other way around, batting side of things, I've said who the important bowlers have been. I suppose I should throw in Keshav Maharaj will be important in Kolkata. We expect that to turn there. And it'll be a toss-up. What do? Do they play the two spinners in Maharaj as well? I would think so. I think it would be in a tournament where they've been very good about horses for courses, it'd be a good idea to play Keshav Maharaj as well as Tabrez Shamsi against the Australians in Kolkata. And that means now kind of mix and match. Fitness probably determines that on the side of the bowling attack and who it is exactly who plays. On the batting front, Quinton de Kock, absolute key. Has set it up beautifully through the tournament. Best World Cup he's had. 100 after 100. He's got 4 of them now. They need him to get 2 more. 1 in the semi-final and 1 in the final. That's if they're going to go the whole hog. And yeah, absolutely no doubt he has to. If he doesn't, I think it leaves too much for the others to do. That top 6, as it were. Can they do without him? Of course they can do without him, but it just puts them in better stead when he provides up at the front. Bavuma, is he fit? And I wonder if he's saved his best for last. He's got starts here and there and not quite managed to kind of convert. And contrastingly and kind of ironically, normally you would have him being the guy who'd be circumspect and Quinton de Kock being the guy who's aggressive. But in this tournament, it's very much been the other way around, where Quinton de Kock has looked very sort of measured and calculated and cautious at the beginning of games, and Bavuma has looked to take it on. And so in taking it on has got out quite a few times. So yeah, I wonder if that's just a shift in the game plan, or it's just kind of worked out that way. Klaasen, Markram, Rassie van der Dussen, David Miller, solid. They've been very good, dovetailing quite well, but they need some sort of platform. And if they get that, then I think they'll be all right. Who wins this one is a big question. Many will speak about the choke word, C word as they say. And for South Africa, it's an opportunity here to, get over that, to prove that they accept it's happened many times and the expectations got to them and they're frozen under the pressure. But can they get through this one against Australia? I think it's their best chance because they've played Australia so many times. So they're not going to fear them as an opposition. So essentially, if there's any fear at all, it'll be a fear of occasion rather than of the opposition, because they've beaten them enough times in recent times. For the Aussies, they know how to turn up when it counts. So expecting a good one, and for me, tough to call, but leaning towards South Africa because they just seem to have a better sort of all-round in terms of being able to damage an opposition. All right. Who must do well for Australia if they're to win? As I said, Warner, Zampa, Marsh, and then you've got to go one of their bowlers, and I think it would have to be Stark. They're fast bowlers. It would have to be Stark to do well if they're to get over the line and get into that final. Make your pick, and you tell me who you think. Looking forward to hearing from you. Ciao for now.